Welcome to the launch of Rev-Up Caribbean, coming to you live from the Jaguar Land Rover special showcase room here on Arthur Wint Drive. We are glad to have you with us. If you are from the overseas or the wider Caribbean, a special welcome to you. And of course, a special welcome to our media partners, both here in Jamaica and abroad. I especially thank you to our speakers today, who you'll be hearing a lot more from as we go on. But most of all, today launches the launch of Rev-Up Caribbean, the Caribbean's first virtual incubator program, a spin-off, if you will, from First Angels Jamaica. Many of you will know First Angels Jamaica is Jamaica's only operational angel investment group, which was founded in 2014. It is used to finance early stage and growing companies in Jamaica and the wider Caribbean. Rev-Up will focus on supporting startups and scale-ups in the most sustainable way as possible for innovative businesses. I hope today's event is an informative one, especially for our small business owners who are specially invited today and tuned in. Guys, guess what? You are able to ask us questions right in the comment section. And for our media partners, we welcome your questions at info@revupcaribbean.com. Our team is standing by to feed any questions to me throughout the event as we hear from our speakers. Without me taking up too much of your time, the Lord has given me the gift of gab, but this is not about me. I'm going to turn over to Jacqueline Leckler, who is with us today. She is the Managing Director of Stewart's Auto Group, and of course is hosting us here. She was also one of the founding investors of First Angels Jamaica. Jackie, welcome us from the Jaguar Land Rover showroom here.
Thank you. And it's very fitting that Rev-Up Caribbean is having their launch here today. You are an innovator, and so are we. You're in our double arch building, first in the Caribbean, and I noticed Rev-Up Caribbean is the first innovator in the Caribbean.
Right.
So welcome. We're on Arthur Wint Drive, and we're proud to have you here.
Thank you so much for having us. So you will see there's fantastic vehicles behind us. If you check my Instagram, there's a sign that says approved, and I feel that way as well. I feel I am approved. It really is a pleasure, and we really thank you for hosting us here today. For those in Jamaica, that is on at 2 to 5 Arthur Wint Drive, a spectacular showroom. I wanted to go over to our chairman. So Joseph Matalon is the chairman of First Angels Jamaica, and he's also the chairman of Rev-Up Caribbean. The one thing that I didn't know is, by the way, is tell you who I am. I happen to sit on the board of Rev-Up Caribbean, and I am Danielle Terrelong, your host. And I would like to now speak to my chairman, Mr. Joseph Matalon. Joe, let's take it from the beginning. You started, along with Sandra, First Angels Jamaica. Tell us why in 2014 that was important.
Okay, well, I think we came together as I think like-minded individuals, not only to invest in promising new business ventures, but also to contribute to the extent that we can to the development of the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Jamaica, which we believe is crucial to economic development and growth. We've been around for around 7 years. We have invested in 12 companies. We've done a total of around 19 deals, investing some $2.6 million US dollars, or close to 400 million Jamaican dollars. So the FAJ itself, its mission is to develop the entrepreneurial ecosystem.
Right, right.
Now, turning to Rev-Up, while a number of the companies that we have invested in over the last 7 years are doing very well, the fact is that generally speaking, we have found that our founders lack the broad range of business skills
Right.
that would allow them to scale their businesses in keeping with the vision that they have for those businesses. And as a result of that, our response was, together with partners like the Development Bank of Jamaica, which has always been very supportive, we ran a number of investment readiness workshops, which attempted to prepare individuals to pitch to the angels and also to provide them some basic skills. We found, however, over time, that was not really sufficient in terms of the circumstances that we faced with our founders. And we believed that a more enriched program that would include more substantial training, along with, very importantly, mentorship from both local and international mentors who themselves are successful entrepreneurs, would be a way of providing that additional support to our entrepreneurs in their journey of entrepreneurship.
Right. So tell us, you speak before about the ecosystem. Tell us a little bit about this small to medium business ecosystem and how that really serves Jamaica, and of course how Rev-Up feeds into that.
Sure. Well, I think it's a quite widely held view, and it's backed up by empirical study, that most jobs in any economy, not just in Jamaica, are produced by small and medium-sized enterprises. And therefore, if innovation and new job creation is to be driven, we need to ensure that our small business sector is equipped with those skills in order to make the kind of contribution that we want them to make. The businesses that will graduate from Rev-Up Caribbean will have gotten a menu of very in-depth training programs, will have received mentorship, will have received the benefits of the network that we will be providing them, and it is hoped will therefore contribute to more robust growth in the economy and to job creation, which will benefit not only those business founders that graduate from the program, but the society at large, as that activity translates to economic growth, increased taxes, and therefore services from our government.
That's fantastic. One of the stories that I like to tell people, having received angel investment myself or my company, is that as entrepreneurs, and I'm speaking to every small business owner out there, you think that your biggest problem right now is needing some money. And I promise you, you're probably right. That's how I felt as well in 2014. We've all said, geez, peas, if only I could get everything would be okay. Having been a recipient of angel investment, I have actually found that that was a part of my problem, but the biggest value came from being a part of the training programs, from having amazing mentorship, and now that that is formalized in the Rev-Up program, I can see where this is going to be an amazing benefit to other entrepreneurs. So you may think your problem is money, but in this program, I'm not ashamed to tell you, I learned to read financial statements, I learned to understand how to develop a business strategy, and that was because I was surrounded by amazing people that, quite frankly, as a small business, I could not afford. And I have the benefit of actually having Sandra Glasgow here. She also sits on the board of my company, DRT Communications. As I said before, I couldn't pay to have her expertise at any time. I genuinely couldn't, and to be able to have her in a 5-second away WhatsApp. And this is why I want to encourage small businesses to really sign up with this program, because you get the benefit of the Sandra Glasgows throughout the world. So Sandra, welcome to our launch. You have been involved for 30 years or maybe a little less,
More.
in developing the small to medium business landscape in Jamaica, a founding member of FAJ and now Rev-Up. Tell us a little bit about your experience working in this small to medium business landscape.
Well, thank you, Danielle. And I just want to say again, thanks to Jackie, who is one of our most active angel investors.
Absolutely.
For her role in Rev-Up. So as you say, I've been working in this space for many, many years. And I have noticed that, we are very entrepreneurial as a people. Years back, I was involved in doing the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor research. Jamaica's total entrepreneurial activity index is very high. The problem is that we have a lot of people who have aspirations still to start and grow a business, but they don't have the knowledge base. They don't have the skills and the experience to actually go from starting into sustaining a business. And, our experience with First Angels has shown me that while we have entrepreneurs with great ideas, as Joe said, they really do need additional knowledge and skills to make the business a success. So, I'm really thrilled to be part of this. This is something we've been talking about at First Angels for a long time.
Right.
We are actually planning a bricks and mortar facility.
Right.
But in the last couple of years, with COVID, we've realized that a virtual program would be just as successful. So I'm happy to be here today.
I am so happy that you said that, because what this virtual incubator allows us to do is also reach a larger demographic, a larger target
Absolutely.
audience throughout the Caribbean as well.
Yes. And we have formed some partnerships that I think are going to be pivotal. I know my friend Bebars Altunas is tuning in from Turkey. He heads the World Business Angels Investment Forum, and they were one of our first partners that we enlisted. And they're going to provide us with trained and certified mentors. Now, Joe mentioned the importance of mentorship. And our founders who have got investments from us have really spoken about the need to have mentors who are not just based in Jamaica, but who are based all over the globe, who have experience in different verticals. And so what this program is trying to do is to provide our founders, our entrepreneurs, with not just the training in business management, but with support from people like the mentors who have signed up from our program, from all over the globe.
Right.
That's really something. So, I'm really looking forward to the shift in the approach that we will take through Rev-Up, and not just in Jamaica, but throughout the Caribbean.
So that's fantastic. We're talking about Rev-Up, but there are two distinct, I'm going to call it programs beneath the program, beneath the organization. We have the incubator and the training opportunities. And all of this, ladies and gentlemen, small business owners, is allowing us to get to the point where we can access financing to create those sustainable businesses. So walk us through a little bit through incubator training program.
All right. So we have two distinct clientele. One would be the startups, early stage companies. If you have started a business in the last 5 years, say, but you haven't really got to, achieve the vision that you had at the beginning. And if you are looking for equity funding, Rev-Up is the route to get to the angel investors. But also, we have formed a very important partnership with the National Commercial Bank, and my friend Cherie Martin, who is head of SME banking, is here. Because when I floated the idea to Cherie, she said, we are looking for a sustainable program to support our SMEs. Because frankly, the banks have very similar concerns that we have as angel investors. People who are coming to them for money, who are not really managing their businesses optimally, and those, if they are not, that poses a risk to the banks.
Right.
And that's why there's sometimes a little hesitant to lend to small businesses. So we want, through this program, the Incubator Program, which is for startups, which will include investment readiness, a training program, mentorship, and access to the angels. They'll be able to pitch to the angels. And then on the other side, NCB SME clients who will have a similar program but not include the investment readiness or the mentorship, but everything else will be the same.
Right.
And I also want to say that we have, we're going to be benefiting greatly from the support from McKinsey & Company, that global consulting company, that is going to be delivering a weekend retreat on how to become a successful CEO. And everybody in the cohort will do that. And by the way, this is a 5-month program.
Right.
And at the end of the program, we expect that there will be people well prepared to pitch to the angels or to get additional financing from NCB.
Well, I just want to say that I have actually had the experience of having McKinsey on the weekend retreat that we did with First Angels Jamaica, and it was fantastic. The ability to become, you know, that optimal CEO, if you will. It was a fantastic weekend, and another perfect example of why we need to be here. Sandra, you and I spoke yesterday, and you said Rev-Up is sector agnostic. Tell me exactly what that means for our viewers.
Yeah, we are really looking for innovative businesses that have the potential to grow and scale. And that's how we create the economic growth. You know, we want businesses that will grow into big businesses.
Right.
That's really the objective. So we're not focused on one technology or the other, or one sector or the other. In fact, in our portfolio, we have technology companies, we have service companies, we have manufacturing companies. So as long as you are a founder who wants to grow this business, who wants to get financing, either equity or debt financing, Rev-Up is the place for you.
Absolutely. So we are calling on really every type of entrepreneur. You said before that we have a very entrepreneurial spirit within the Caribbean, and that takes us through creative, that takes us through tech. You know, we have so much to offer. So I know some of our audience is saying right now, well, how do I apply to be a part of this? This is not a registration. You have to apply to be a part of Rev-Up Caribbean. And I'm inviting you to visit us at www.revupcaribbean.com, and you will understand more about the criteria and the different programs that are being offered through Rev-Up Caribbean. You know, Sandra spoke so much before about working so closely with the National Commercial Bank here in Jamaica for the wider Caribbean. Just to let you know, we are seeking actively partners across the Caribbean. So, you know, don't just think this is just a Jamaican thing. And of course, NCB themselves are actually Caribbean-wide. I'm joined by Cherie Martin, who's the head of retail banking at the National Commercial Bank. You know, Cherie, Sandra spoke before about some of the same things that she sees and the angels see in terms of, you know, the issues that small businesses have. You also experience it, and of course customers will get frustrated. We can't access financing. So tell us a little bit about what you see and why you're really a part of Rev-Up.
Thank you. It's really great to be here. Congratulations to FAG and all the persons that are a part of making this happen. So if you think about what Joe said and what Sandra said, we're not short of entrepreneurial spirit in the country. You know, you have people that have ideas.
Right.
And, you know, the ability to translate that idea into actual business that allows you to provide goods and services is something that you think you can manage.
Right.
And then you get into the thick of it, and you realize that you have to think about payroll, you have to think about timelines,
Absolutely.
you have to think about, you know, suppliers, you know, you have to deal with your bank, you know, opening an account, you know, having staff. All of those things come with muscles that persons who are founders, visionaries, you know, idea generators are not necessarily just immediately able to just adapt to.
Right.
Right? You know, they have to think about governance and accountability and controls. And so what we recognize is, there has to be a space where financial institutions invest in that kind of capability.
Absolutely.
Right? Because we're part of the ecosystem, to Chairman Matalon's point. And so we can't stay outside and just, wait for persons to be perfected to say, okay, now come. We have to be in the thick of it with them.
Yes.
We have to listen. We have to understand what some of the concerns are. I was just talking to Chris here about, how do they even get management accounts when a bank says to them, I need financial statements. They're like, what?
Yes.
You just mentioned, I learned to read a financial statement. Yeah? And so Sandra and I go way back, and I know her passion, and I also know Joe and Jackie. And the truth is, for a bank of the nature and caliber of NCB, not to be a part of something like this, it would be a shame. Right? We serve a really good enough percentage of SMEs in Jamaica. Of course, we want that to grow.
Yes.
And the idea to invest in an opportunity to have them go through a program like this just makes absolute sense.
Absolutely.
There's no question that this will help. And, saying yes was very easy.
Right. So, of course, we know that there is a financial investment. So we know that to run a program like this and have the level of mentorship that is possible, it costs. And what we're hearing is that NCB is subsidizing up to 75% of this cost for their customers. You just tell us, in more real terms what that is.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember the conversation with Sandra vividly because she's going through the program with me and we're like, okay, we need to introduce as many SME clients as possible. But the cost is the cost. There is a lot of investment going here. And we said, okay, for people to also have some skin in the game. Right. It's good for you to be able to demonstrate your commitment to your vision, your idea of growing your business. And so we didn't believe that funding 100% would send the right message. Right. So we decided that we would take the bulk of it. It's $1,000. So the business owner would only have to find $250. And we think that that's reasonable, that's not out of their reach for the businesses that we're pitching to. And so for sure, we will take care of some of that headache. I want to do this, I can't afford it, it's really hard, but we're making it easier for you, by far.
So the Rev-Up training program that Cherie speaks to is for entrepreneurs who are NCB customers at this time. They will spend $250, and other entrepreneurs, we're inviting you as well to also register. You will pay $350. So this is probably a good time to become an NCB client if I ever knew there was a real one. How many NCB customers are you looking for this first cohort?
We're targeting 50 first. We want to increase that number over time with the next cohort. So we think we have a good crop of 50 SMEs in our database that will more than benefit, for sure.
That's fantastic. One of the organizations that has played a pivotal role in the development of businesses in Jamaica. I'm just so proud of the work that they do, and sometimes not heard about enough is what we talked about at lunch. And we have with us, and that would be the Development Bank of Jamaica. So many opportunities for SMEs, and we have with us Mr. Christopher Brown, who is the project manager for boosting innovation and growth entrepreneurial ecosystems. I think we call it BIGGI, from the Development Bank of Jamaica. This is a massive part of your portfolio, investing in the small to medium business growth. Tell us a little bit more about why you have become a part of Rev-Up, and very importantly, how you think it will benefit the ecosystem that Mr. Matalon speaks to.
All right, thanks, Daniel. So the DBJ firstly is the Development Bank of Jamaica, in Jamaica, and our goal is to facilitate economic growth. So one of the key pillars of us doing that is strengthening the MSME ecosystem, so our micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. So as Joe had mentioned, that is the thrust and drive of Rev-Up Caribbean, so you can see where the synergies would lie. As a development bank, we initially offered loans to businesses, but the same issue Cherie identified is that businesses lack capacity in general. So they don't have the necessary documentation, they don't have the necessary business management skills, they don't have the necessary guidance, the real foundation that is necessary to drive growth and development over time. And what we want to see is our micro and small businesses to become medium-sized and large businesses,
Right.
and the medium-sized ones to become large.
Right.
A very common thing is you look on the Jamaica Stock Exchange now, and you have the same companies who have been there for the last 50, 60 years.
Right.
What we really want to see is these new companies, these early stage companies, to become those big companies of the future. And by future, we talk very near future.
Very
So
near.
the Big E program, as you mentioned, is geared at providing different solutions to help our early stage businesses to get access to capital. Not just the loan financing that they're used to, but even to introduce equity as another option of financing.
Okay, okay. And tell us, what is your experience with, I said before that entrepreneurs think that they really want money, and they do come to you a lot for that, but you are seeing that opportunity for more training to be able to feel more comfortable as a development bank to fund these kinds of programs when the expertise is there?
Right, that's correct. The saying, you don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely.
I think that's a key thing for businesses, as well as sometimes you really don't know what you've never tried. And being in a program like Rev-Up, you get networks to business persons who have done this before and can give you advice on what to do, how best to do it, what not to do. So DBJ's participation in this program is really to try and encourage businesses to learn how to operate a business and see how you can grow.
Absolutely. We're so grateful to have the National Commercial Bank and the Development Bank of Jamaica as partners. I want to read something here. It says, and it's something that many of you may not know. Did you know that according to the Caribbean Development Bank, MSMEs represent 70 to 85% of Caribbean businesses and contribute between 60 and 70%, I think Cherie alluded to this, of our gross domestic product. That's why this is so important for organizations like Rev-Up to exist. So that just, how important, how vital it is to have that. We in Jamaica think we are unique, and we actually are very unique in many ways, right? But I've had the benefit of speaking with Nelson Gray, who is an international angel investor, has done a lot of work internationally developing angel investor networks, and actually was a consultant for when First Angels Jamaica launched in 2014. Nelson will be joining us in a second here from, I believe he's in Scotland, about 6 hours away, certainly past my bedtime. Nelson, we are glad to be with you. We are glad to spend this time. We, of course, wish that you were here with us. Assuming that we are hearing, if my production team could just give me the yes that we are connected to Nelson right now. Hi, Nelson. Good to have you on with us.
Hello, and good to see you.
Good to see you.
I've lost your picture. All I'm seeing is my ugly face. All I'm seeing is my ugly face, I'm afraid.
Oh, that's okay. We think. Oh, there we go. We have you. Welcome, Nelson, to the launch of Rev-Up Caribbean. Thank you so much for being with us.
I'm sorry that I can't actually be with you. I was going to try and join in. I was going to try and join in the spirit. Hang on. I thought I was trying to join in the spirit by drinking rum, but it seems that my mother drank all that. So I'm celebrating with Caribbean Dreams Sorrel and Ginger Herbal Tea, the last packet I managed to get in London.
So that's hilarious. So, Nelson, you've done, that work with FAJ that we spoke about, First Angels Jamaica that we spoke about before, and you have done work across the world, as far as Africa, across Europe, many places across the Caribbean. I think you and I met for the first time, I think it was in St. Lucia at one point. So you've done work everywhere. Tell me about what you think is unique to Jamaica, but really commonalities that you'd say that, the world has in the world of angel investment.
Well, I think what I found unique about Jamaica was the friendliness of the people, which you're actually demonstrating again with your own enthusiasm tonight. Thank you very much. Makes me pleased to be with you. I do think that Jamaica, as with absolutely every other country and location I go to, thinks that in some way they are going to struggle to get onto the entrepreneurial scene, that things are hard and difficult, and we are somehow behind everybody else. Let me assure you that that is absolutely not the case, because everybody in every country kind of says the same. And I think there are far more similarities between entrepreneurs and investors around the world than there are differences. My only exception to that is to say that I have a personal policy of ignoring pretty much absolutely everything they do in Silicon Valley, because that is not simply a different country, it's on a different planet somewhere, I think. So I'm very pleased, and I'm delighted with the progress that has been made in Jamaica, and that First Angels have been able to invest in a lot of countries. Far more progress than I see in many other countries I've worked in.
Oh, that's fantastic. I hope you heard that, Jamaica, that, Nelson Gray, who has consulted across the world, is fascinated by so much of what has happened in Jamaica and other areas of the Caribbean. Nelson, I remember when we met, I did my pre-pitch before I could go before First Angels. You said to me, Danielle, if I had a dime for every time that an entrepreneur told me our pitch, our ask, financial ask, was conservative, you said you'd be a very wealthy man, because as I said before, we all think we need the money, but we need much more. I know why you said it to me at the time, and 7 years later, I'm here to tell you you are 100% on the money in that one. I needed a lot more, and they certainly were not conservative, but that's a conversation for another time. But tell us about that experience, globally, and what you see a program, consulting with a program like Rev-Up, really brings in that space.
Well, I think I'm really excited to see Rev-Up taking place, because in every location I go to, in however developed a market, be it Eastern Europe or be it the UK or be it the US, the constant message I receive from founders is that they are unable to secure the funding they need to grow their business. And in exactly the same location, I get the message from the investors that they are investing in absolutely every good deal that they see. And the reality is that there's a massive disconnect between the founders and what the founders think they need to present and say to attract the attention of the investors, and what the investors actually really want. And that language needs to be explained to each other, because we're missing out on great opportunities because of an inability or a lack of training and input to improve that communication and get those messages across. And that's not a Jamaican thing. That's something, as I say, I see absolutely everywhere. I'm just about to start a review of investor-ready processes for Ireland on behalf of Enterprise Ireland, and they're concerned about exactly the same things. And I think what you've got, which is particularly special in this new program, is the close relationship between the investors and the companies. And it's the investors that are going to be heavily involved, both the bank and the angels, in delivering the program. And that is a huge advantage from so many other programs I see around the world, which are delivered kind of by academics. Because if you think about it, you've effectively got your customer helping you design the product you're going to launch. And I think that's going to be hugely valuable and save everybody a huge amount of time. And it's going to be beneficial on all sides, because founders are going to benefit benefit from a real understanding of what it is that investors want to hear about. And fundamentally, that's the business opportunity rather than some cool tech or how the app works. But at this, and it's going to get the funding faster and quicker. It's going to give a much improved impression of deal flow quality. And that is, as a result, going to encourage more people to become investors because they're going to see high quality deal flow being presented to them, which will increase the amount of money that's available, which will then encourage even more people to come forward as founders because they'll see that the funding is available if they actually start presenting their idea.
Right. So that actually goes perfectly back to, it's almost as if, I guess you may have been hearing Joe before talk about that ecosystem. It becomes that circle. And one of the things that First Angels Jamaica is constantly looking for is to expand their network. And the only way we're going to be able to do that, I say we as if I'm there yet. I'm not there, but I soon will be. It's my dream. The only way they'll be able to do that is if we prepare companies to be investor ready, is what I hear that you are saying. And then the deal, the quality of the deals will be that much better. And that's why this is important. Nelson, I want to thank you for being with us this afternoon. Just stay with us a bit. We do have a panel discussion and questions may come in for you. So if you're able to stay with us, we would really appreciate that. For those who are following, remember to write any questions that you may have in the comments below. Also, to our media partners and anyone else, if you'd like to email us through our website at revupcaribbean.com or info@revupcaribbean.com. So I want to move to a very, very important part of what Rev-Up is about. As a female entrepreneur, I actually discovered that it was a little bit harder for me to get financing simply because I was a woman. There are challenges that we face as women entrepreneurs that I never used to want to believe, but are actually quite true. I wanted to point out, just to read here, 40% of Caribbean businesses are owned and certainly led by women, and that is why Rev-Up Caribbean, through its support of NCB and DBJ, are committing that we want, or I would say we're trying our best to have at least 50% of each cohort be women. We are women focused. We actually have 57% of our board of directors at Rev-Up Caribbean are actually female. We made a joke yesterday that this has to be the most beautiful board there is in Jamaica. And I come back to Jackie because you yourself are a female business person here in Jamaica and, you know, a big part of First Angels, as we said before. As a successful businesswoman, tell me a little bit about the Rev-Up's focus on entrepreneurship and why you think that's, female entrepreneurs, and why you think that's important.
Well, thank you for asking me that. I think it's important because women bring to the business place not just business thinking. We're bringing multitasking, nurturing, you know, just thinking outside the box, and we need the support because, as you said, it didn't come naturally to bring us females to the forefront. And I think Rev-Up Caribbean is going to give us the tools, give females the tools to sort of be able to, you know, read that financial statement, negotiate with the banks, negotiate with their board, and just put us where we deserve to be, at the top of the food chain.
Right. You know, if you guys may know that if you operate in a business in Jamaica, chances are it's something amazing, like 70%, don't mark me on it, a significant amount of our managers in the Caribbean are actually women. So it goes without saying that we should invest more in our leaders. I spoke before about our 57% female board. We, of course, have some men who also feel the same way. Mr. Matalon is a man who is actually fueling this fight with us. He's a big believer. I didn't want him to think that we left him out of it. We just happen to think we are the beautifuler side of the board of directors. So Jackie, just coming back to you, what are some of the experiences that women have that are more unique to a woman in business here in Jamaica and of course the Caribbean?
I'd have to say balancing time, because I find that women tend to have families and they're also in the workplace. So it's how do you find that work-life balance?
Yes.
Also, when you walk into a room of suits, how do you fit in?
Right.
Are you saying the right things? Do you resonate with them?
Right.
So it's a balancing act.
Yes.
But then again, you, the woman, you bring a beautiful spirit to the conversation, and I think that's how we take the game forward.
Right. As a matter of fact, I was speaking with someone at NCB recently, and he referred me to an article by McKinsey that spoke, and I invite everybody to go on McKinsey's website and type in gender diversity in the workplace, an amazing article. Yeah. And so while we're talking about entrepreneurship, there's some interesting facts. A great article, I'll actually add it to my personal Instagram later on tonight because it's so important. So Sandra, I want to go back to you because we want to begin to get into the nitty-gritty about the perks. So each person, each company that is registered, that applies and is approved, gets a certain level of perks as a part of Rev-Up Caribbean. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so, we really believe that for a company to be successful, they have to be supported in many, many ways. Just think of all the things that as a founder you have to know and you have to do. So we have partnered with a number of companies that will provide our incubator clients, people who are in Rev-Up, with what we call perks. So we have a long list of them now, but right. I can mention some of them. Of course, we have to thank NCB and DBJ for the ultimate perk, which is to pay 75% of the cost of the program. But we've also teamed up with Supreme Ventures Business Hub, for example, which provides HR and accounting back office services. Michaela Solutions, which represents Epicor EPS, and they will provide heavily discounted cloud accounting services and preparation of financial statements. We're working with InfoServe Learning Management Group to do the extended disc psychometric test, which really tells you how best to work with your team. Absolutely. Gives you insight into your own personality. It's an amazing tool. We're working with future skills consultants who will help each person in the incubator to develop a high-level strategic plan. We have Cube Corporate Support, which is going to provide corporate secretarial services at discounted rates. And Incomex, which is, we're talking to, we haven't signed the agreement yet, but they are open to the idea of providing discounted services for software and hardware. Wow. So we are every day recruiting new partners. And of course, I mentioned earlier the World Business Angels Forum that's going to be providing us with mentors, international mentors. And although McKinsey, I can't officially call them a partner, they're going to be providing this pro bono weekend retreat for everybody in the incubator. And I think all those together are going to really provide the kind of support that founders need, because it's a lonely environment out there when you are trying to build a business, and we want to make it easier for everybody.
So what I'm hearing there is going to be access to heavily discounted legal, accounting, auditing, access to machines, computers, what you're going to need to have your business scale. And it's important that we get that kind of help, that kind of support at discounted rates, because truth is, none of us small businesses can afford an auditor, for example, but our banks and certainly our board requires that we have, and the Company's Office of Jamaica or Barbados or wherever it is, requires that we have that type of governance in order to scale and grow. And you're saying it's a perk. Access to this kind of support is available through Rev-Up.
Absolutely. And also, NCB, I forgot to mention, we have a partnership with NCB Insurance Agency that's going to provide incentives for small business people to enlist their staff on their pension plans.
And pension.
Because the pension scene in Jamaica is really terrible. Right. Not enough of us are saving for our pension, so we're working with them. We're also going to be working with the Payment Services Division of NCB, so that once you sign up, you can have access to credit cards, a payment button,
for your website.
Even a website, a template for your website. Wow. And then, of course, the DBJ offers vouchers for technical assistance. Right. And you can go online, right, Chris? And apply. You don't, and get help to hire that accountant or do your audit or all the other services that you need.
Right. One of the great things, I hear more about it because of the industry that I'm in, is that the DBJ, one of the problems we have to build our business is the marketing. And when investors are looking at our business, they want to know how. And you can get a DBJ marketing voucher. There's so many vouchers that you can get. And of course, even more when you apply to Rev-Up Caribbean. What we want to do is just remind everybody to visit www.revupcaribbean.com. To apply today. Our registration for the first cohort ends on October 18th, so get that together. We're going after 50 NCB SMEs and of course 30 other, just regular startups and innovators, if you will, that happen to not be a part of the NCB group at this time. We're closing down our day. Of course, follow us at RevUpCaribbean.com. We're going to go through some question and answers in a while. I gather there may be some coming in, and but I'm going to move into a bit of a panel discussion now. So, Joe, you spoke before about, and Nelson mentioned it about, the need to kind of expand that network to have more deal flow, more people investing in companies. What are you looking for as you need more members to invest money?
Well, we are looking to start in Jamaica, Danielle, but if I've learned anything working with Sandra, Managing Director of Rev-Up over the last 10 years, is that she's not only an extremely competent administrator, but she's also very passionate and very ambitious. So I am sure that before very long, you will see that we are, really making good on that aspiration to be a Caribbean-wide incubator. Let me say in relation to entrepreneurship in general, and specifically in the Caribbean, I don't think that entrepreneurship has been appreciated by our policymakers as a policy tool for economic development, to the extent that we believe the subject matter deserves. Great credit to DBJ for some years now having taken the view of the necessity of developing that entrepreneurial ecosystem, as we call it. And that is what is going to allow us to drive the vitality of our economies across the Caribbean, and improve the lot, not just of the founders and businesses that we help, but our citizens in general, who will have more jobs available to them, more services available to them, more opportunity available to them. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. And we heard before about how much entrepreneurship means for our GDP across the Caribbean. Sandra, there is a question for you, and I see that you're going to want to say something to me, so let me ask you the question first. Somebody coming in saying, can I join even if I haven't started my business yet, but of course I have a really great idea?
I would say apply, because we'd like to know what that business is and to be able to assess its potential. So for sure, please do apply.
Whether you are at ideation or concept at this point with a strong business plan, of course, apply. And the question came in, what do I need to do to apply? And I'll answer this question, when do I apply? I'd say apply about 5 minutes ago, because we close on October the 18th. There's still a lot of time, I kid. But what do I need to have to apply?
So the application itself asks for details on this idea, this business that you have. You know, who are you targeting as customers? What's the size of the market? Do you have a team? Who is part of your team? You know, how much money do you want?
Right.
Do you have any traction?
Right.
If you do, you know, sort of what have your sales been? What are your projections looking like? So we're really just trying to understand the business a little better. Everybody will have an interview, so we will be able to delve some more into the details when we do the interview. But I wanted to just pick up on something Nelson said earlier, because we are really trying to improve the quality of deal flow. And if angel investment is going to really take off in Jamaica, we have to have better quality. Deal flow.
Right.
But more importantly, the rest of the Caribbean, I have lots of, and you know, we all have colleagues in the Caribbean who are looking to us in Jamaica, because we have done so much in angel investing. And so we have people in Trinidad and Barbados, in the British Virgin Islands, in the OECS, who are looking to us, the angel investors, to help them develop angel investor networks as well. And so one of the things we will be doing out of Rev-Up is offering training for potential angel investors in how to do this. So you'll hear more about that.
So possibly training to how to invest, the best way to operate deals, what you should be looking for, that type of stuff, plus training for the startups themselves.
Correct.
I want everybody to know on camera that I'm not actually being rude. I'm getting so many questions through my phone, not just checking a random WhatsApp. And one of the things we have is a question for Chris that says, you know, he's lovely, he's excited, it's for Chris from Spencer, who says it's great to hear about this initiative. He operates a hardware store and it needs to expand. He wants to sign up for DBJ grants, have in the past, hasn't gotten a response, but he wants to get your support. Well, first of all, we'd love him to sign up through Rev-Up Caribbean, and there's so much, we know there's so many applications, Chris. How does the DBJ support somebody who is operating a hardware store and needs support?
All right, so I guess my advice to Spencer is to visit dbankjm.com, that's our website. We have dbjvoucher.com, that's where you get the vouchers. We have thinkbige.com, that's 2 E's at the end, to hear about all of the all of the grant products and technical assistance products we have. And then you can also WhatsApp us at 371-3830, and somebody will respond to you and give you guidance on what's the best route. Sometimes people are looking for loans, sometimes it's grants, sometimes it's access to possible equity investors, sometimes it's training in different programs, Rev-Up and others. So that's how we can contact us.
Right. So that's 371-3830.
That's correct.
Very, very impressive brain. I have to give that one to myself. So Sandra, we see where this process, it's 5 months of training, about 5 hours per week, give or take, across for this 5 months of training. And then it's not a guarantee, but entrepreneurs will have the option to pitch to angels.
Yes.
Explain what that pitch process looks like.
Yeah. So from the very beginning, one of the first training programs the Incubator clients will go through is the Investment Readiness Program, which will sort of set the stage to say, what are angel investors looking for? What do you need to be putting together? How do you effectively pitch? So that's one of the first things they do. And then after the training program, which is 85 hours over about 3.5 months, they will be putting together their pitch presentation. And at the end, everybody in the incubator part of the program will get an opportunity to pitch to the angel investors. So we'll have a series of pitch days. You will have your mentors working with you to make sure that your pitch is perfect. and that you can make a good pitch to the angel investors. And I'll tell you, I have my angel investors calling me and saying, Sandra, thank you for doing this, because that's what we need. We just want to see our founders better prepared coming to us, because they're all committed. We have 30 members who are committed to investing in startups.
You know, I want everybody to truly understand, you know, I know that firsthand. I have access to Sandra, I have access to bankers, auditors. Sometimes I just have a burning question. And we know as entrepreneurs, sometimes we feel fool. We don't know how to ask the question. We might feel a little shy. We think we should know the answer, but sometimes we don't. And access into this type of network, or as has happened before, I've wanted to do business in Barbados, and I've had the opportunity to say, Sandra, is there any opportunity you could open? And she may say, as a matter of fact, you know, Jackie's doing some business in Barbados right now. Those types of things have happened as you move into, you know, going after equity financing. Your angels are there to actually help you grow. You're also helping them to get a return on their investment. So I see a comment coming in here. It says, I'm excited about, and we only have about 2 more minutes, but I'm excited about the mentorship aspect of this program. Who can we look forward to be guided by during the process?
Oh gosh, we have a long list. Cherie is one of our mentors.
Yes.
We have a long list of local and international mentors. I mentioned the World Business Angels Forum. The credentials are amazing. We are going to, you know, the mentorship pool is not really public. It's for the people who sign up. So sign up today, because then you'll have access to those people. The World Business Angels Forum is a global body, which is focused entirely on angel investing and supporting startups and early stage companies. So we have incredibly committed people, technically sound, who have been trained and vetted. I can guarantee that you will have really excellent people to support you.
Yes, and I can guarantee that as well. We are finally at the end of today's event, but in the meantime, if you have more questions for us, you can email us at info@revupcaribbean.com. You can join us at RevUp Caribbean on Instagram. We're also on LinkedIn, Twitter. You name it, Twitter. We're everywhere. My team is ready to answer any questions. Of course, media partners, we're thankful that you have been so supportive to us getting our stories out there, because at the end of the day, we're really here to serve Jamaica and the wider Caribbean, you know, building our business infrastructure. I really want to thank Mrs. Jackie Leckland, the team here at Jaguar Land Rover on Arthur Wint Drive, for hosting us today. Thank you to everyone who joined us virtually. Your presence here today, all your questions were appreciated. My sincere gratitude to all of our speakers. Cherie here from NCB. We have Chris from DBJ, of course. Sandra and I have been working very hard and probably spoken to each other more than normal in the past 2 weeks. We have our chairman, Mr. Joe Matalon. As I said before, thank you to our media partners. There are some very important people that we must thank, however, that really made today possible. What you guys do not see is that on the other side of us, there are about 20 people from companies such as DRT Communications, Commercial Concepts, who is doing the production today, an amazing team there. Catherine Speak gave us the water that I'm going to need in about 1 minute. That's a hint to my team. Great House Caterers gave us a fantastic lunch. We have Jose Walton that's going to deliver all of our stuff to the media. Mark, Maurice, Franson, and Marcia Nicely. Let me just pause off on Sandra a little bit for our fantastic shirts that we got, and our vest. You know, these are people that Sandra has been friends with that said, these are our contribution to just a small contribution towards business in Jamaica. Sandra looks as fabulous as she does because of exquisite faces. Small business owners, well, she looks fabulous anyway, but she looks more fabulous in normal. I did great until this last minute. So, small business owners, this is what I'm saying to you. Here is an opportunity that may answer several of the questions that you may have. You're going into banks right now and possibly getting turned down because you don't have management statements, you don't have management accounts, and you may not know what to do, but you're really good at the business you are in. This is an opportunity for you to apply at RevUpCaribbean.com. You can apply today. Notice we didn't say sign up. You have to apply and go through the process. You have access to mentors, global mentors that can open markets for you. And this is taking you to investment readiness that is going to equip you to go in front of angels across the Caribbean. We look forward to receiving your applications. Goodbye from us, from the Jaguar Land Rover showroom here on Arthur Wint Drive. Thank you for joining us.